The journey to Aetheria. In the year 2147, the Earth was a shadow of its former self. The once vibrant blue planet that has been ravaged by the centuries of exploitation and the neglect of the environment. Humanity's last hope lay in the distant planet of Aetheria, rumored to be the harbor of the rare minerals needed to power the revolutionary stellar nexus, a device capable of harnessing the energy of a planet. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the starship Odyssey, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of Aetheria. The crew of 150 brave souls have been handpicked for the mission, each an expert in their field. Among them were Dr. Marcus Lee, a brilliant but enigmatic physicist, and Lieutenant Sarah Thompson, a seasoned pilot with a mysterious past, and Alex Carter, a young engineer with a knack for solving impossible problems. As Odyssey left Earth's orbit, the crew felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They were leaving everything they knew behind, venturing into the unknown. The journey to Aetheria would take 6 months, during which they would face countless challenges. The ship's departure was a spectacle, with families and friends gathered at the spaceport to bid farewell. Elena's thoughts drifted to her own family, left behind on a dying Earth. She knew that the stakes of this mission were higher than any before. The stellar nexus was humanity's last hope, and a failure was not an option. The first few weeks of the journey was relatively smooth. The crew settled into the routines, conducting drills and maintaining the ship, and preparing for challenges ahead. Elena made it a point to get to know her crew, understanding the strengths and weaknesses. She found solace in camaraderie that developed among them, a bond forged in the crucible of their shared mission. 2 months into the journey, the Odyssey encountered a massive asteroid field. The ship's advanced sensors had failed to detect in the time, and the crew was forced into a desperate battle to navigate through the deadly obstacles. Captain Rodriguez's quick thinking and Lieutenant Thompson's expert piloting saved the ship, but not without damage. Several key systems were compromised, and the crew had to work around the clock to make repairs. The asteroid field was a chaotic dance of rock and ice, each asteroid potentially a death sentence. The ship's hull groaned under the strain, and alarms blared as the crew scrambled to avoid collisions. Elena barked orders, her voice steady despite the chaos. Sarah's hands flew over the controls and her eyes locked on the display as she guided the ship through the treacherous field. In the aftermath, the crew assessed the damage. The main engine was offline and several critical systems was compromised. Thanks to Alex Carter, led to the repair efforts. His mind racing with solutions, he worked tirelessly and his hands a blur as he patched up the ship. Despite the exhaustion, there was a sense of relief. They had survived, but the journey was far from over. During the chaos, Dr. Lee discovered an anomaly in the astral field, a signal unknown origin. Despite the risk, Captain Rodriguez decided to investigate. They found a derelict alien spacecraft, a technology far beyond that humanity has ever seen. The crew managed to salvage some of the alien tech, hoping it would give them an edge in the mission. The alien ship was haunting sight, its hull scarred by time and space. Inside, they found remnants of an advanced civilization long gone. The technology they recovered was a treasure trove of possibilities, but it also raised questions. Who were these aliens? What happened to them? And what secrets did their technology hold? As the Odyssey continued its journey, tensions began to rise among the crew. The stress of the missions and isolation in space took its toll. Alex Carter discovered that somebody was tampering with the ship's systems, causing the malfunctions. The saboteur revealed to be Dr. Lee, who had been secretly working with a rival faction on Earth. His goal was to sabotage the mission and claim Aetheria's resources for his employers. The revelation was a shock. Dr. Lee had been a trusted member of the crew, his brilliance and dedication unquestioned. But now its true motives were laid bare. Elena confronted him in the ship's brig, her anger barely contained. Dr. Lee's portrayal cut deep, but it was also steeled her resolve. She knew they had to reach Aetheria, no matter the cost. In a dramatic confrontation, Captain Rodriguez and Lieutenant Thompson managed to subdue Dr. Lee and lock him in the brig. The crew was shaken, but the resolve was stronger than ever. They knew they had to reach Aetheria and secure the minerals, not just for themselves, but the future of humanity. Without days that followed were tense. Trust had been scattered and the crew struggled to rebuild it. Elena held meetings encouraging communications and addressing concerns. Slowly the crew began to heal, their focus returning to the mission. They knew the road ahead was filled with danger, but they were determined to see it through. After 6 long months, the Odyssey finally arrived to Aetheria. The planet was a breathtaking sight, with vast oceans, towering mountains, and lush forests. As they prepared to land, the crew detected life form. The inhabitants of Aetheria were advanced and were aware of the newcomers. The landing was a tense affair. The crew watched in awe as the ship descended through Aetheria's atmosphere, the landscape unfolding below them. They landed in a clearing surrounded by towering trees and strange luminescent flora. As they disembarked, they were met by a delegation of Aetherians, their eyes filled with curiosity and caution. Captain Rodriguez knew that their mission has just become more complicated. They would have to navigate not only the dangers of an alien world, but also the complexities of the first contact with an advanced civilization. The Aetherians were a proud and ancient people, their technology and culture a testament of their ingenuity. Elena knew that diplomacy would be key, and she prepared to make their case. The crew set up a base camp, their eyes constantly on the Aetherians, who watched from a distance. They began to explore the planet, mapping its resources and studying the unique ecosystem. But as they delved deeper, they uncovered secrets that were hinted at a darker past. The Aetherians had their own struggles, and the crew realized that their mission was intertwined with the fate of this alien world. To be continued.